Yahweh, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, Kodash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahawashi being the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Want to give a double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Shalom to the Lord's elect, and you I can pushing His word out the four corners of the earth with our truth and sincerity, making your calling and election sure in these last days. As you see, World War III is brewing up. You know, you have what, Iran and Israel throwing shots at each other. And soon it's gonna be, hey, NATO gonna turn to, NATO and the EU is gonna turn their back and, shoot shots at Babylon the Great, man. You know? And this is the times that we're coming into. So not too much longer. Hey, shalom, Mak, yahawashi, brakatah, wa to all you Akim tuning in. Not too much long after, there's gonna be that great war in heaven. You know, the World War III, hey, with Yahawashi, man. They're gonna come and try to battle the Lord. And my first precept, I'm gonna get straight into it. It's gonna be Revelations. I'm gonna get Revelation 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seventh and goeth into perdition. And that beast that is of the eighth, that's talking about America, because it came out of Britain. Britain is the seventh, the empire, and goeth into perdition. And that's why when you read 2 Thessalonians, the second chapter, which I'll just get, 2 Thessalonians, when you go into that word perdition, it means to bring down. And Esau, Edom is going to be brought down, So this is 2 Thessalonians, dance like it, man. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man in sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Romans the 9th chapter, right? Let's get Romans the 9th chapter. This is the reason why Esau, Edom has so much power, man. This is the reason why they got, so high up. And this is why they think they're going to be able to come and fight the Lord, man. Because they are the vessels fitted to wrath. This is Romans 9 and verse 22. What if the Most High, willing to shew his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. 23, that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. You see? So this is why the Lord has lifted up Esau, Edom. So he can come back and fight them and show, them who a real power is. And what's gonna happen is gonna be Exodus part 2. After this, the Lord's name is gonna be spread out throughout the four corners of the earth, and everybody's gonna know him. I seen the bro have some precepts. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord, and that sin has reached unto the heavens, man. The Lord had remembered her iniquity, and this is why World War III is brewing up. And not too long after, the war is gonna happen, man. Which they're gonna all come and team up and fight against who? Yahawashi. Which, let's get it. Back at Revelations 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. This is going into NATO and the EU, dealing with Babylon the Great. Which is why it goes on to say, what happens when you deal with Babylon the Great, man. Jeremiah, let me get this. Jeremiah 51. This is Jeremiah. Yep, this is Jeremiah 51 and verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures. Salakia. That's not, this is Salakia 51 and 7. Salakia 51 and 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And who are the main nations? NATO and the EU, their own allies. And I think the brother had even a precept going into, Obadiah, 1 and 3, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And this is why it goes into, what was it gonna get? What was I gonna get? That goes into Daniel the 7th chapter, right? This is Daniel 7 and verse. Let me get this. Yep, this is Daniel 7 and 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake a very great things, those look, whose look was more stout than his fellows. As you see, Esau, Edom, America looks down on all these other nations, which is why their own allies, they don't in the EU, is gonna turn back and eat her, man, which is we're gonna get into. And I see the bro had another precept. Obadiah 1 and 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, another sign to show you who's ruling, Rome. One of their main, their main symbols was the eagle. And when you go into America, their main, when you go on the coin, what they have the eagle. The eagle is the logo for America, man. Which is why it says he exercises all from the first beast. That first beast is Rome. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. There you go. Esau Edom is getting ready to find out who a true power is, man. Esau Edom is getting ready to believe on the Lord, man. And Esau Edom has no faith on the Lord. So soon when he sees him, he's gonna have to believe in him, right? So this is back at Revelation 17, and I'm gonna go back at verse 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And that one mind that all the nations have is that new world order to charagma everybody, which shows you they're two separate things, because the system is the system is the image, and for you to bow down to that system, you're gonna have to take a physical thing. So you have WFI say that you have WFI saying that it's spiritual, but then it's gonna turn physical. No way. That's not how the scriptures work, man. You're causing confusion. Let your yea be nay, your nay and your nay be nay. That can't be, because in order for you to bow down to the system, the image, you're gonna have to take a charagma, a physical impact. You see? So there's confusion in that in itself. So back at Revelation 17 and verse 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, right? All these nations, they don't the EU. They're gonna give all their strength unto Babylon the Great to come and fulfill that charagma, that new world order. Verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the Kings of kings, and they that are with him are called and are chosen and faithful. You see, the elect, they that are with the Lord are gonna prevail with Yahawashi, man. Hey, shalom, Maki, bahasham, wake up the dead out there in Texas, man. Love it. Hey, shalom, a lot. But hey, oh damn, it's raining right now. Damn. You see, I'm gonna get back into it. The 14, these shall make war with the Lamb, right? The 10, the NATO and the EU, and really all these nations. For he is the Lord of lords and the Kings of kings, and they that are with them are called and chosen and are faithful. You see, because those that die in Yahawashi shall be risen up first. You're gonna come back with the Lord destroying shit, man, doing your work, doing your own thing. And he said, Salaki, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, right? Because when you read it on earlier in this chapter, it goes into the water, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are the peoples and the multitudes and the nations and tongues, right? All these nations. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are NATO upon the beast. These shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's why I brought out Jeremiah 51. You see, that's why I brought out Jeremiah 51. This is why they're going to hate her. This is why they're going to hate Babylon the Great. This is Jeremiah 51. And 7, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand and made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. You see, the nations are mad because they soon found out that the way Esau Edom rules, his society, it's actually the wrong way to rule a society, and it's not progressive and it's degressive, you know, which is why they're getting mad at them. You see, and then even more so when they set up the charagma, they're gonna see that this is not the way people are gonna want to rule, which is why there's gonna be Jacob's trouble, which is what shit hitting the fan, and we're getting ready to come into that. But verse 17, so like it, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, thee shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. You see, these other nations are gonna what? After the war in heaven with Yahawashi and his angels, they're gonna, the nukes are gonna get sent out by by your own people. And you may think, man, they're never gonna send out those nukes. They're never gonna do that. Well, listen what the scriptures say, man. Let's get Ezekiel 38, which we're in actually. Gog and Magog, right? Russia, right? Now we're in war with what, the West. You see, we're at the end of this shit, man. We're at the end of this shit. So this is Ezekiel 38. I'll probably just start from the top, man. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog and the chief priests of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. And when you go into these lands, they're actually Japhetic lands, but Esau Edom has taken them over. You see this going into these lands today, which would be Russia. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen. This is the Lord putting back that Soviet Union spirit on Russia. Putting that hook on your mouth and turning you back. You see? Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. You see these lands. I'm gonna just get straight to the point. If y'all brothers have any precepts, man, you can drop them off on the comment board, and I'll bring them out. There it is, verse 10. Thus saith the Lord power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. This is Putin and these other presidents pondering on whether or not they should nuke Babylon the Great. That's that evil thought, because they understand that once these nukes get sent out, everybody's sending out nukes, and this is the end of it. And that's an evil thought. Knowing that as soon as you press that button, we're all fighting, man, and there's no winning at the end of that. Well, who's gonna win? Yahawashi, man. He's gonna deliver his elect in them chariots, enter into thy chambers, for a little moment, as you see the glass, mingle, you're gonna see the glass mingle with fire, brothers in the chariots looking down at Babylon the Great, all on fire and shit. Hey, cause what? We're getting ready to come back and rule, and they're gonna fight the Lord before all that happens, man. Yup, hey, I actually had that precept right there. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. You see? These elites and these people think that they're doing their own things. These presidents think that they're making their own moves, right? They're calling the shots, when really it's the Lord. And when we get 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, which I'll just get it right now, is going to show you that the Lord's even going to put the spirit on these nations to fight the Lord, even if they're not going to want to. I see another precept. Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Right, because the Lord is going to do, because the Lord, Salakia, is going to have, blood on his apparel, pursuing also the Revelations 19th chapter without Revelations. Damn, I need to slow down, Salakia. Revelations 19th chapter without get. Damn, it's raining right now, man. In his apparel, traveling in greatness, in his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. There you go. Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore, wait upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I might assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even my fierce anger, and all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. There you go. The Lord is going to be the one sending out the nukes. And they're not going to miss. They're not going to stumble and dash into one another. Now they're going to land where they need to land. And that's pursuing the Joel the third chapter, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to get back at Revelation 17 and verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Who's that Lamb? Yahawashi. And who's NATO? They don't need you. and these other nations. It said all nations. It took Russia, China, all these nations are gonna come and try to fight the Lord when He comes back. In the midst of World War III, which we're damn near here. You know, shall overcome them, for He is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with Him are called and chosen and faithful. You see, and you see when you brought out Salakia, Isaiah 63, who is this that cometh with thy garments from Basra? Let's get this. This is Revelations 19 and verse 17. Salakia, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go up. At verse 12, his eyes were as a flame of fire. On his head were many crowns, right? Because the Lord is going to come and take down all these kingdoms, and He's going to gather their crowns, their kingdom, and give it what to His elect, right? Under Yahweh, Yahawashi, and the 12, the elect are going to rule, with them. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and he was clothed, look at this, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. You see, the Lord is going to come back and do a lot of killing, and mainly on you Edomites, because the Most High is going to put the Spirit on you Edomites, and really all your nations, to fight the Lord. And that's why there's going to be so much blood, man, so much bloodshed. And I'm going to just keep going down into it. Verse 14, and the armies which were in heaven followed Him upon a white horse, right, the chariots, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Verse 15, and out of His mouth goeth a sharp sword, and with it He should smite the nations, and He shall rule them with the rod and iron, right? After, He comes and smites the nations with His sword, really, that waster created for destruction, the nukes. Before that, He's going to be, blasting them with His chariots, which it goes on into it in 2nd Ezra 13 chapter, which I'll get again. That's like it, man. Right? Verse back at 15, and He shall rule them with the rod of iron. After He takes down the nations, the elect are going to go down and take out the kings of these other nations from the bunkers, and we're going to rule them, man. They're going to be the first slaves into the kingdom of heaven. All these nations. The Edomites are going to be the first fruits of slaves in the kingdom of heaven. So like it. But all you other nations are going to be tributary unto us, man. You're gonna be working for us, man. We're gonna be the elites. We're gonna be the ones on top. You see how the Rothschilds and they don't gotta do shit. The elites on this side, they don't gotta do nothing. They just chill, and their kingdom is what being built up by the hands really of the saints, man. The Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Then you got those that are scattered abroad that may look like the other nations, but go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Back at verse 15, check this out. And He treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty power. A winepress, man. You know what that is? That's like you stomping on a bucket of grapes, man, and just squeezing out all the the juices from it. That's the blood, man. That's gonna be billions are gonna die, man. Billions are gonna be killed out here. That's that winepress. Verse 16, and He hath on His vesture and on His thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Verse 17, and I saw an angel standing on the sun and cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power. And this is going into that great sacrifice. Babylon the Great is that great, this is that altar. That's why we're out here on the highways and the byways on the altar giving our sacrifice. What's our sacrifice? Our body, man. Making our bodies as a living sacrifice so that we don't get caught up in the judgment of Jacob's trouble. Because before, the Lord comes back and starts, fighting, these other nations, we're going to go through a scary ass time, man. Fucking Jacob's trouble, bro. Shit hitting the fan. No food. Cannibal gangs. No electricity, no light. Not knowing where you're going to go. Out in the wilderness as a pilgrim. Not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Not knowing if you're going to even get a jacket, or the right clothes for the situation you're going to be involved in. You see, man, this is not a thing to play with. This thing is deadly serious, and the doctrine is deadly serious, man. The doctrine is important because if you teach the wrong things, like, the Karagma, for example, and a lot of other things, if we teach the wrong things, then, we can get judged for that. I actually made a lesson yesterday, and I had to take it back because I fucked up on something, Had to delete it real quick. Because hey, we're not trying to get caught up in that judgment, man. We're not trying to, we fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai in sincerity, man. We do this work in sincerity, to feed the elect sound doctrine, understand these scriptures, understand these, these dark sayings and parables, man. But let's get Second Esdras 13th chapter, now that we went into, kind of how the Lord is going to come and really destroy these motherfuckers, man. This is Second Esdras 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that had moved all the waves thereof, right? Because when Yahawashi makes that entrance, before he pulls in here, there's going to be a wave, like, what the fuck is that? Like a big object pushing forward into the earth. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under of him. You see, he's going to come back with his chariots, his armies, as we read in Revelations 19th chapter. Lord of armies. He's going to come back with 1,000 of his chariots, man. And some brothers are going to come back with them. When you go into, the martyrs, the first dead in Yahawashi shall be the first risen up. So hey, if it's our lot, you brothers as well, if it's our lot to be a martyr, man, you gotta think of it that way. Hey, as soon as you in that position of getting your head chopped off for the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi, for the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi, for teaching that Esau Edom is the devil that the Bible speaks of, for teaching that the Charagma is the MOTV, for teaching the right things. Hey, Esau Edom is gonna try to put you to death for these things, and guess what? He is. He is, but we're going to come right back with Yahawashi to tear their asses up, man. So back at Revelation, back at Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, and verse 3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him, right? Let me get this. Let me get this. Revelations. I'll just get this back, man. This is Revelations 1:7. This is Revelations 1 verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds. And didn't that movie just come out too? Nope. You see, the clouds are actually the chariots of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi. People call UFOs, UAPs. Those are actually the vehicles that the Lord is going to come back in, and he's actually going to fight with. Those are his angels. That's his army. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Who pierced him? The Romans. Those two centurions. How are they going to see him? How are they going to see the Lord come back? Showing you reincarnation is in the scriptures. They're back here today walking the earth, man. They're back here today walking, doing their thing. And when they're going to pass Jacob's trouble just to see the Lord come back, and they're going to witness, they're going to witness the Lord come back, and they're going to know that, hey, they're through, And they also which pierced them, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. There you go. Showing you that the Apocrypha, lines up, perfectly with the scriptures as well, man. It lines up perfectly. Second Esdras 13 and verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him, right? You see, everybody's going to be scared when they see the Lord, because, hey, everybody's going to come into, realization that they fucked up, that they fucked up. And you can read that in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, which, let's get into it. Hey, because that's beautiful, man. Us brothers, man, we're on the right side of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi. I don't want to let this off, of course, man. But, hey, as of right now, through faith, we're friends with the Lord, man. He says, I've not, called you servants, but friends. Imagine being friends with the president of the universe, man. That's, Jake likes to say that connects our, power. Back in the world, right, if you had that good connect, that plug or whatever, just making a worldly example, you were up there, man. You were high up. And we're going to have what? Yahawashi, Yahawashi, and 12, really Yahawashi, as, connects, man, on dial, man, on speed call, man. You know, that shit's crazy, honestly, man. You know, I don't want to Zion, we be those men, you know, to be in league and to be found, good in the sight of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Be found worthy, which is why we do what we do. But this is wisdom of Solomon, 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Right? The closer we get to the end of this thing, the more we get bold. The Charagma, World War III, everything that's happened, all these prophecies getting closer and closer, man, to our physical reality. When we're actually going through it. Hey, it builds us up in the spirit because the more this thing is becoming more real and more real. And this is why that great multitude is gonna wake up, man, because they're gonna know that, hey, they right, man. They have the spirit of the Lord. And them brothers are gonna be having miracles, so on and so forth, right? Verse 2: When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. You see, the same thing. When the Lord comes back, everybody's gonna wail. When the Lord comes back, everybody's gonna tremble. When the Lord comes back, everybody's gonna be filled with terrible fear, except for the elect, man. The elect are gonna be rejoicing. Like, let's go. Going through Jacob's trouble, man. Going through, your hour of temptation, whatever it may be. Your lot. Because not all brothers are gonna, be martyrs for not taking that charagma. Some brothers are gonna be going through temptations, in Jacob's trouble. Being a pilgrim, not going, going out, not going with food for like 3 days, man. You know. All brothers are gonna have different lots, man, and we just gotta hope that we endure to the end. You know, for the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for, because these chariots are not only gonna come with the Lord to destroy and kill, but also to deliver. Verse 3: And they, repenting and groaning for the anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. You see, pursuing the Romans, the 3rd chapter as well. Hey, we're going to be justified in our sayings. Because these people right now, they call us crazy. Look at this dude out here teaching with the Bible, and that chart, okay, now what? We're gonna be justified in our sayings, man. We're gonna be justified in our doings, in our works. And hey, it's beautiful because right now it may seem like these people have it, but we see it through the Spirit that we actually got this thing, man. We at the end of this thing, and you guys are gonna be like, damn, they're gonna wish that they were in our position, man. This is a heavy position. You see? This is one of the heaviest callings you can have in all existence, man. As a wave is to a drop. 144,000 and and the 1/3, man. That's nothing compared to, billions of people on this planet, man. You gotta really put that into perspective. And you were called, man. You chilling in, you're chilling in your crib, and you're just looking, you're just thinking about everybody that's in your city. That's why the scriptures say one of a house and two of a city. And you were that man that was written of being that, that two of a city or that one of a house. You see? Man, that shit's heavy, bro. That shit is heavy as fuck. This is Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Yeah, because standing before the Son of Man is a heavy thing, man. Hoping that we're found worthy, hoping that our works were, righteous in the sight of the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. That's what we hope for, man. That's why we do what we do. Come out here and make our body a living sacrifice. It ain't nothing to come out here, and teach for the Lord, man. A light lesson just to go into, some breakdowns. Teaching the scriptures, telling Jake to repent. And hey, this is all the duty of man, man. This is the only thing there is to do. 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to His purpose. Are the called according to His purpose? Romans 8:28. You see, damn. Bro, we're called into this thing. Not everybody's gonna even have this calling, bro. People are out here walking around at the clubs just to be destroyed, man. Having it on this side, VIP, popping bottles and shit. And that's how we're gonna be in the kingdom, man. We're gonna be VIP, with Yahweh Shai popping bottles, man. Drinking that best wine, the best wine in the universe, bro. we just gotta endure for a little bit, man. Long suffering, which when you go into that word long suffering, it means patience. We just gotta be patient, man. You know, be in love with the simplicity of this truth. You know, verse uh, verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. You know, when people walk by you, brothers, you know, you guys, what do people say? Man, these people are crazy. You know, they believe in, you know, what they believe in. But what's going to happen? Verse 4, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. You see, when Yahawashi makes his move with the UFOs, quote unquote, hey, we're gonna be what? Justified, man. And they're gonna be calling themselves fools. They're gonna be like, damn, we fucked up. Matthew 22:14, for many are called, but few are chosen, man. I don't want this out where they're chosen, bro. You know, so we gotta make our calling and election sure. But hey, you know, these people, hey, right now they call us crazy, you know, because we do what we do. But soon, they're gonna be calling themselves dumb, man. We should have listened. Verse 5, how is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness has not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness has not rose upon us. You see? Bro, we have that light was shined upon us. We were called. We have the ability to repent, man. These other people, this light wasn't even shone upon them, man. You know, they weren't even exposed to the truth. You see, they're just walking around, you know, like like Saddam's children, man. Dumbasses. Look, you know, acting like little ass fucking, you know, rats, man. You got fucking 35-year-olds, 35-year-olds and up, you know, still wearing, you know, motherfucking nose piercings and, you know, acting like motherfucking, you know, like little rats having their hair all dyed and shit. You see, like, man, through his foot. Zephaniah 3:19, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. It's like it, man. At that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out. And that's going into the elect. Right? That her is Israel, because we're married unto Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi. You see? And I will gather them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. There you go. You know, for a little moment, we just gotta relax, because you got Jake that's famous on this side. You got Jake that has it on this side, and you got a lot of, you know, celebrities that we don't even know about. You know, and they out here, you know, calling themselves celebrities. Hey, and not too long after the nuclear missiles get shot up, or not even then, man, when Jacob's trouble cracks, everybody's gonna forget all about that shit, man. No one's gonna be thinking about Blueface. No one's gonna be thinking about motherfucking Kodak when shit really starts cracking. Like, come on, bro. You know, even you little corrido rappers and shit, no one's gonna be thinking about none of that. We're gonna be focused on, they're gonna be looking for you brothers, man. You know, hey, they're gonna be looking from sea to sea for the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi. You know, hey, I remember Zion was out there talking about this. I seen some YouTube videos on them. I remember they were bringing this out. That's when, you know, our fame is gonna go out through the four corners of the earth, man. Then Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come. You know, just to put that in there. You know, then you brothers, hey, brothers, you know, be slacking shit. Me and myself, you know, sometimes we be slacking with females, man. You know, taking L's left and right, but it's all good. Cause soon we're gonna have them all. We're gonna have too many. We just gotta what? Endure for a little bit, man. You know, we just gotta be patient for a little bit. It ain't nothing. You know, it ain't nothing to just relax. You feel me? For a little bit until what? Shit really starts cracking, and we're gonna win, man. If we just do what's needed of us to do in righteousness, man, in sincerity. You know? Zephaniah 1:18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be. Want to get that part too? I'll probably just get it. Shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. There you go. You see all these, you know, all these celebrities that are high up, have a ton of money. You know, they think that they think that their silver and their gold is gonna be able to deliver them, man. Hell no. You know, they have their little fame and glory on this side. That shit don't mean nothing, man. When we get set up, our fame is gonna be for eternity, man. If we be those men, of course. And you can also tie that into Ezekiel, man. When, you know, they're gonna be throwing their silver and their gold on the streets, man. You people that have them Cuban leaks, motherfucking $200,000, diamond chains and shit. You're gonna be throwing that shit away, man. Your Richard Mills, man, that shit not gonna be worth shit in Jacob's trouble, man. Right? Let's get back into it though. Verse verse 5, he is numbered, so like in verse 6. Therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness has not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. Man, you see, you brothers were called into this thing. This light was shone unto you. Verse 7, we worry ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way, but as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. Verse 8, what hath pride profited us, or what good has riches with our vaunting brought us? Verse 9, all those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasteth by. Man, they don't mean shit. That shit don't mean nothing. You see? Jake out here worrying about the wrong shit. You should be worrying about, these prophecies. How are you going to be able to get delivered from these things? How are you going to make yourself, show the Lord that, you're worthy to escape all these things, man. Your repentance, man. You got to worry about things that truly have value. You got to, sit down and really think like, man, what am I doing? This shit don't mean nothing. You got to have something of value and something that's going to be able to deliver you from the times to come, man. Because Jacob's trouble is nothing to be played around with, man. That shit is scary as fuck. And then even more so being fucking obliterated by a fucking nuke, man. Even more so, man. Back at it. And then, hey, you two-thirds are gonna be getting shot down by these chariots, man. By high pressured fire, man. Coming out from the Lord's chariots, man. Fuck that. Second Ezra 13 and verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. You see, because these chariots are going to be throwing out fire from them. Verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Right? These other nations are going to come and try to fight the Lord. Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had grieved himself a great mountain, right, his chariot, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not, because that chariot was so big. You're not going to be able to see from where it starts, man. It's going to be like a big mountain, man. Like a mountain that just covers everything. Right? Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet did fight. You see, these other nations are still going to be scared to fight the Lord, but they're still going to have to, because the Lord is going to put the spirit on them to fight, pursuing the Proverbs, the 21st chapter. I seen the Ike had a precept. Ezekiel 22 and 21. Yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall all be melted in the midst thereof. That's that. What these Christians claim to be the what is it? The what do Christians call that shit? The burning the lake of fire. There you go. They think that the lake of fire is gonna be in hell. the lake of fire is gonna be here on America, Babylon the Great, which is hell. Right? Ezekiel 22 and 20. As they gathered silver and brass and iron and lead into the midst of the furnace to blow fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Man, fuck that. Feel me? Fuck that. I'm not trying to get caught up in that judgment, man. Being melted, man, for a little bit of for some fleshly desires. That's why Jake is gonna get melted, man, because they can't control their fucking mind, man. They can't control their flesh, man, because you want to go on and have intercourse with as many women as you want, because you want glory on this side, because you want fame on this side, man. Because you want to eat pork. You serious? That shit's crazy, man. Just for fleshly desires, man. That shit, Jake is gonna get literally killed, and then even more so, just to mention that, during Jacob's trouble, there's gonna be all types of ways that Esau is gonna kill these people, man, which is really the Lord. But back at verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it, Verse 7, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not, because it was a big ass chariot. Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet did fight. You see, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them to still fight. Verse 9, and lo, he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. The Lord is just gonna be standing there, in his chariots, and his army is gonna be doing all the work, man. Verse 9, and lo, he saw, verse 10, but on the eye saw that he sent out of his mouth, there it is again, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he has cast out sparks and tempests. His chariot is going to be doing all the work, man. You see? Verse 11, and they were all mixed together in the blast of fire, and the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid, man. When when he seen the war in heaven, when he seen the Lord come down and just blasting everybody without mercy, man, just going ham and killing everybody. Hey, he was in that. What the fuck? And the Lord just standing there on the big chariot, man, just kicking it. And hey, and guess what? Some of you 2/3 are gonna be zapped by them chariots too. Because pursuing to Zechariah, the 5th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, hey, the chariots are gonna come to Babylon, right? Because that fight is where in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which would be in the Middle East, which is why this is all happening over there right now, man. Israel and Iran throwing shots at each other. Hey, we're at the end of this shit, man. We're at the end of this shit. Yep, this is Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Verse 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. The wicked and you other nations and the 2/3, man. And who stole us? Who stole the Lord's gems? The Lord's jewels. Esau, Edom. Verse 4. And I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. That thief is Esau, Edom. What is his house? Babylon the Great. An offshoot of Britain. And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. You see? The Lord is also going to be making a killing out here, man. In Babylon the Great. But you nations that are going to try to fight the Lord, guess what, man? You're not going to be able to do shit against the Lord and his chariots, man. And his army. In 1 hour, man, in 1 hour shall this place be utterly, consumed. So how much more or less, that war in heaven is going to be light work, So let's get this, Daniel. I want to get Daniel 12. Yep, Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. You see, Jacob's trouble is in league with World War III. Because World War III is in league with the fighting of our Lord, of these nations fighting our Lord. Verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. You see, this truth was signed unto the elect, and the elect are going to turn back, and repent and do the works, and do all that good stuff. And the 2/3, well, they're going to hear this word, and they're going to go on about their day and just turn up. You see, which is going to be to their shame and everlasting contempt. Verse 3, and they that be wise shall shine, as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. You see, you brothers are shining, man. You brothers that have this truth, you brothers that go onto the highways and the byways, you make your lessons, you're making your body a living sacrifice. You after studying, watching, 2-hour breakdowns, taking notes, trying to understand what the Spirit is telling you. Hey, you're shining, man. You know. But hey, let's get Revelations, 12. I want to get Revelations 12. Yep, in verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Right? Verse 2. And she, being with child, that child, yahawashi, I think, and the 12 stars, if I'm not mistaken, is the 12 tribes. Travail, and she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And this is actually going into the time of what was his name? That one. Let me just get it. It's in the book of Matthew. This is going into the time of. Let me just get it so I don't butcher it. There it is. What's his name? Yep. This is Matthew's 2 and verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. You see, this is when Herod was trying to go and kill all the firstborn, and really to look for yahawashi. You see, that's why it says, back in verse 4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom, back when in the Roman Empire. And he did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. You see? And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations. Who was that? Yahawashi, with the rod of iron, which we read in Revelation 19 chapter. And her child was caught up into the Most High and to his throne, right? Acts, the 1st chapter, when he was brought up into the chariot. They all looked up into heaven. Right, verse 6, and the woman fled into the wilderness, and she had a place prepared for Salakia, and she had a place prepared of the Most High, and that she should feed her there 1,260 days. Verse 7, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels and prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven. You see, the Lord Yahawashi and his army is going to fight these angels, man. So are going to fight the angels of these Edomites. And who are the angels of these Edomites? They're jets, they're fighter, helicopters, so on and so forth. That's Esau Edom's jets, man. I mean, angels. Weak ass angels, man. Fighting against the Lord, fighting against, the Lord with Michael and his angels, man. The chariots, the UFOs, the things that turn into one and then turn into 3 and come back into 1, and then turn into 7 and start doing, start dancing and start defying the laws of physics. They're gonna fight the Lord. And this also shows you, man, when you read these scriptures, it can jump from time to time, man. It can jump from point to point. This is why the scriptures are like a puzzle. You gotta have the understanding to be able to maneuver through the scriptures, man. Which is why we have our apostles, man. Which we have our elders. We watch breakdown of the 17th chapter, breakdown of Revelation 19 chapter, so on and so forth. What all brothers should be doing. Going into the breakdown so you can get understanding. So yeah, man. Hey, we're getting ready to come into the time of what the Lord fighting Esau Edom with his angels, man. And I just wanted to touch up on that. Just go into. I seen brother had some precepts. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Oh, hey, the pot, man. Study to shew thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. There you go. You got to be able to understand how these precepts, move. In the time of times, Revelations 12 and 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of the Most High and had the testimony of yahawashi of Mashiach. There you go. You know, hey, Esau, Edom is gonna come and try to fight, you know, the elect, man. You know, and this is why the Lord is gonna come back. You know, because really Esau, Edom is trying to what? Karagma all of us, man. Trying to put that C-hip inside of us, and that's them declaring war on, you know, the Lord and his, you know, the Lord, hey, the Lord and his wife, you know, the Lord and his women. Isaiah 28 and 10, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And when you notice, when you read that, it doesn't start with line upon line. It starts with precept upon precept, because the scripture says, through thy precepts I get understanding. You see? And the Lord has to be with dealing with you, you know, first and foremost. You know? So, hey, you know, I don't want to run this out with that. You know, this lesson was edifying. I want to turn to the east and give all praises to our power. Yahweh, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, Kodash. I want to give a double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, who teach sound doctrine. Shalom to the Lord's elect, and you Akim pushing this word out the four corners of the earth with all truth and sincerity, making your calling and election sure. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Makia. Yahweh Bashina Shah Brakatah. Let's get it.